What's good, everybody? What's good? So this is gonna be part one of my Knicks and what can they do to um, get back to where they wanted to be. Um, Before I get started, um, I want to thank all of my subscribers. I don't really care for the likes. I don't care for yeah. I don't necessarily care for the likes. Um, um, I just do this YouTube for fun. I don't do it because for the money because I'm not even advertised yet. So I understand. People have mixed emotions and they go through life just like I go through life, just living life. So, if people unsubscribe and they subscribe and they unsubscribe, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not these popular YouTube channels that has 34K or 69K or 5K. I just do this for fun. I just do this on my spare time when I'm not doing anything. I'm always busy, but when I'm, when I have free time. But yeah, I don't do this for clickbait. I don't do this for publicity stunt. I don't do this for nothing. I don't do it for anything. I do it because I like to do it. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so I wrote down the roster. Obviously, as point guard, the starters. You have Jalen Brunson as point guard. Shooting guard, you got Mikal Bridges. Small forward, you got Josh Hart. Power forward, Anobi. And then at center, you got Cat. The bench, you got Miles McBride, Cameron Payne, Larry Shamet, Precious Achiuwa, Mitchell Robinson. The free agents, subtraction was R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle. The additions were Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Cameron Payne, and Larry Shamet. Stats ranking, we were 9th in points, 24th in rebounds, 11th in assists, 3-point percentage, we were ranked 24th, free throw percentage, we were ranked 21st, and field goals percentage, we were ranked 5th. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be part 2. New York offseason, NBA draft, we have 0 picks until further notice. We do have a swap with the Wizards, but they're going to have to be bad. I think it's an unprotected or protected swap pick with the Wizards, pick number 8. Free agency, we have none. Only the bench. Yeah, so free agency for us is just only the bench. Everybody's on the contract except for the players on the bench. Fix the bench. Okay. how do we fix the bench? And I religiously said that was going to be our downfall, and it was. A lot of people were just hyped up and, yeah, we're going to, do this and do that. Typical Knicks fans don't think, they just run off of emotions and like that. Not knowing that we had a poor bench, okay? Bench matters in the playoffs. When your starting five gets hurt or gets tired, and you don't have anybody to at least give you 25 or 20 off the bench. It could be two, it could be one person giving you 20 each off the bench. That's going to hurt because you're putting way more pressure on your starters, and they got to get rest. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that the Knicks didn't have a good bench from the beginning of the season, that was red flag. Now, how do we fix this bench? Because of the NBA and their new CBA, it's going to be very hard to make any moves. I think the only moves that we did make was the ones that I just said. And on top of that, we had to give our rival Brooklyn Nets back their picks. Unless, we trade Hart, because I think after next season, 2026, Hart's contract is up. So maybe we can, trade him, probably get some 3-and-D guys, a stretch big men, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at Mitchell Robinson's contract, he's also up for next year's contract, because he only has 1 year deal. He only has 1 year left on his contract. Him and Hart. Brunson is the only one that's probably going to be here until 2027. Cat, I think 2027 as well. So basically everybody else next year's contract is up except for Brunson. So I'll just say 2, 3, and D guys, and a stretch big man. Because Mitch is unreliable in the damn paint, Run it back. Just run the same 5 back, right? Starting, hold on, STR, starting 5, redo. So just run just run it back, just run this, just run the same 5 back and just fix the bench, add 2, 3-and-D guys and a stretch big. Run it back. Obviously, run it back with the same starting 5. Tom stays put. So basically, Tom is not going anywhere, and I put that on my shorts that it could be Tom Thibodeau or Malone. Now, obviously, Malone has won a championship with the Denver Nuggets. I don't know if obviously he's eager to coach. He wants to coach again. But the Knicks would have to but the Knicks would have to fire Tibbs in order for Malone to get the job. Now, is Malone right for the job? I don't know. Tibbs have always preached on the defensive side. I don't think Malone is the defensive head coach. this departure from the Nuggets. I don't know why he was let go. I mean, to me, I think the Denver Nuggets picking up Westbrook was probably a bad idea, and it was, you know. Like Westbrook is a type of dude that gives you a lot of energy, but sometimes he just doesn't have that basketball IQ that you need. You know what I'm saying? He just don't. He tries very hard. He tries every night. You know what I'm saying? He'll give you a lot of his energy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's inconsistent shooter. He just makes boneheaded mistakes sometimes. You know, and you can't have that. You know. So I think that pickup was Carl or Tom. Pick one. So it's basically Carl or Tom at this point, because if you're going to replace somebody with, or if you're going to replace Tom Thibodeau with somebody, why not him? He's proven he's won a championship, like I said. Maybe that's what this Knicks team needs, is championship experience. Now, obviously, Tom is a great head coach. But if we want to go far, we have got to look deep. Because we could run it back with the same five, and our bench can somewhat improve. But if you don't have that championship experience, you're not getting far. Look at the Indiana Pacers. They have two players, or they have two people, I should say, that have championship experience. And that's Rick Carlisle. Obviously, he won it with the Mavericks in 2011. And Pascal Siakam, he won it in the 2018 season with the Raptors. So they have championship experience, something that OKC does not have. And I've religiously said that it's the same exact thing. KD won MVP. He won more games than Westbrook, obviously. I think that was the 2015 season or 2016 season. But I think he won like 54 or 57 games to like 47. And then they wind up getting bounced out in 6. Westbrook, same thing. And they both wind up getting bounced out in 6. Now, obviously, the last time those two went to the NBA Finals, they got beat in 5 against Miami Heat. They only won game 1, and after that, the Heat just put it on cruise control, and the rest was history. But will history repeat itself again? Yeah, because Shea can win the MVP. That doesn't guarantee you're going to win the NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? And hell, James Harden won MVP. He couldn't even get past the Western Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to, go all the way and win it. And that's why that's why I know the Patriots are going to win the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history. Because for me, I know I'm going off topic, but for me, I don't think Shea wants it. I don't think Shea wants it. Like, he thinks he wants it, Because if he wants it, he would have went out there and dropped 40 every night. He can go out there and drop 40 every night. But will that handicap his team? Because the Thunder, they're very young, obviously, and their style of play is, they got two good big men, right? So, but in my question, do they have enough? Because if you look at their starting five, it's not bad, but you got Wiggins coming off the bench, not that Wiggins, but you have Andrew Wiggins coming off the bench. You have Alex Caruso coming off the bench, and you have a pretty good starting five. You got Williams, Shea, Dart. You got what's his name? Shamet. And then you got Hartenstein. But if you look at the Pacers bench, anybody can get hot at the right time. Like Halliburton don't have to go out and score 40. Shea have to. So Shea's gonna have to put this team on his back and probably have like a triple double. But we'll see. We'll see. Up next, everybody's on the contract. Like I said, everybody's on the contract. So the starting five is off limits. The starting five is off limits. So everybody is on the contract. So the Knicks don't have to, think about, we have to pay this person, that person. No, the only people that they have to really pay is everybody on the bench. Miles McBride, he's on the he has 1 year. But basically, everybody has 1 year left on their contract off the bench. So everybody's on the contract. Everybody stays put for now. No draft picks moving forward until 2030. Now, I could be wrong about this. I'm going to actually look up because I'm not really sure what our draft pick is looking like. Do we owe any draft picks? Because I know we gave, obviously, all our draft picks back to Brooklyn, New York. So I'm going to see. No picks. Okay, so I was right. The New York Knicks have no picks for the 2025 draft picks. Could your team land a superstar into yeah, so the Knicks have no picks moving forward. Let me see. I believe they did give Minnesota some draft picks, if I'm not mistaken. I hate when this crap does that to yeah, so the Knicks have no draft picks. So the Knicks draft pick updated look at every selection in the 2025, 2026 and beyond. After a couple of years of waiting, more felt like an eternity. The New York Knicks cashed in their draft assets this summer, and it wasn't for a star, but instead for Mikal Bridges. Leon Rose paid a high price to land another former Villanova player to the roster. New York sent 4 unprotected first-round picks. That's 2025, 2026, 29, and 31, and a protected 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee, and an unprotected 2028 pick swap, and a 2025 second round pick via Brooklyn. The Nets got a haul from the Knicks, but New York didn't entirely wipe out its arsenal. Knicks future draft picks in the top 13 protected first round picks via Detroit will be top protected in 2026. If it doesn't, Convey 9. Top 9 protected in 2007. If it hasn't, Connie pick will turn into a second round pick if it's not conveyed by 2007. So 2020, let's see, 2026 second round pick from Detroit, Milwaukee, Orlando. New York will receive at least favorable pick, and Orlando will receive 2 most valuable picks. Second round pick via Golden State, 2007 second round pick from Oklahoma City, Houston, Indiana, or Miami, New York will receive the second and the third most favorable picks. 2028 protected second round pick via Boston, 31 through 45 protection. If it doesn't convey, the Celtics won't have to send another pick. Second round pick from Indiana to Phoenix. New York will receive less favorable pick, and Indiana will receive more favorable pick. What picks do the Knicks owe other teams? So 2025 first round pick to Brooklyn from the Mikal Bridges deal. The Knicks forfeited the second round pick for Jalen Brunson tampering. 2026 second round pick to Boston or Washington. 2027 first round pick to Brooklyn from Mikal Bridges. 2028 first round pick swap to Brooklyn from Mikal Bridges. Second round pick to Detroit from Boneyard Bogdanovic and Alex Burks deal. 2029 first pick to Brooklyn from Mikal Bridges deal. Second round pick to Detroit from Bogdanovic and Burks deal. 2030 second round pick to Portland from Tyler Kinnick draft night trade. And 2031 first round pick to Brooklyn from Mikal Bridges trade. So the Knicks moving forward. Oh boy. I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously you need your draft picks, but Jesus, yeah, we have 0. So we're gonna have to run it back with the same 5. I don't know how these contracts are gonna be structured. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson is making a lot of money, so I don't think they're gonna move him. So 31, I should say, not 30. So 2031, we have 0. Free agency, okay, I already did that. I don't know why I wrote that twice, but free agency, get a 3-and-D guy and stretch big. And, can't move Mitch Yeah, we can't move Mitchell Robinson because of his contract. I don't know who would probably give up, or I don't know which team would give up or take his contract, I should say. But yeah, I mean, if we release him, then we could probably save like 23 million. but he's been okay, I guess. I mean, this is the longest he's been healthy, you know. Because I remember last year everybody was banged up and everybody was saying, oh, if the Knicks was fully healthy, they would have won it all. And like, you know how fans, overreact and stuff. But this year everybody was healthy and they still lost. So what's the notion now? Oh, they need help, and like, come on. First, it was injuries. Okay, I get it. They came back, they ran it back, everybody was healthy, surprisingly, and they still lost. So I don't think it's a health issue with them. I think it's a talent issue. Like they don't know how to play off one another. Like I was closely looking at this Indiana Pacers rivalry, right? But you could see the Pacers trusting each other, trusting one another. The Knicks don't have that. The Knicks don't have that trust. It's either give it to Brunson or give it to Cat, and everybody move out the way. And I told y'all, in the short that ISO ball does not win championships. The Knicks need to play as a unit, not individually. Like I believe that's why they lost the series. Is because if they played as a unit, as one, they could have probably won the series, and they would have been going to the NBA Finals. But since they don't know how to play off of one another and they don't know how to communicate, and it's like if you run it back, you're just gonna have to face the same problems over and over and over. Now, hopefully, this will give them some thinking over the summer and see if they can all get together and see what they can do, which I highly doubt it, because I know, they just want to get away from basketball and, just relax and enjoy the days that they have, because they have June, July, August, September, October. 5 months from now, basketball resumes. So, they just, they just want to, get away from basketball, So, can't move Mitchell Robinson. No. Deal. Can't move Mitch. And learn from this experience. Learn from this experience, I don't know what year Cat is in with us right now. I don't know if he's in his first year or second year. I think he's in his second year. No, I think he's in his first year because he wasn't in the playoffs with us last year. So this is his first year. So probably year two, he'll probably get comfortable. Mikal Bridges, obviously, because for me, I always give passes to players that's here for the first time. Mikal Bridges, he just got, thrown in there, not really, not really gelling with the guys. Even though Mikal Bridges played with Hart and Brunson and Villanova, which I don't get how they don't mesh well because they did it in college, which is weird. It's not weird, but it's weird because they know each other, So familiar. They're like fit, like they're familiar with one another. So playing off of each other shouldn't be the issue. So yeah, so just learn from this. Just learn from this experience. Get better. Maybe a year underneath. Maybe just maybe a year underneath the system that Tom is trying to install. You know, um, Maybe they'll get it this year. Not championship wise, but just get you know, playing off of one another. You know, maybe they'll learn from this experience and move on and try to repeat what they did last year. Win 54 games. You know, probably third seed. You know, because I know their schedule is probably going to be tough. I don't know how the NBA does the scheduling, but I'm pretty sure, and I hope the schedule is somewhat favorable. You know, because we could get Boston in the and to tip off, you know, to tip off the season. So we could get Boston for the first game to tip off the season, which, you know, obviously we got Boston last year, and they obviously didn't annihilate us. Obviously they were coming off their championship win. So, you know, or it could be Detroit, you know, or it could be the defending champions, Indiana, who knows. But yeah, just learn from this experience, you know, just learn from this experience and, you know, just try to get better, you know, because, you know, there's really nothing we can do as fans, you know. We could just say our piece and say what we want, and, you know, for the life of me, free agency, we're not getting nobody. We're not. The way these contracts are structured, Giannis is not coming here for the love of God. KD, hell no. We don't need KD here because he had a chance to come here, and he chose Brooklyn. Him and Kyrie had a chance to, well, basically just him, but him and Kyrie had a chance to come here, and they didn't. So they chose Brooklyn. So now when things go south, it's like, who wants a broken down KD? You know? Like, I believe his legacy is tarnished because of the decision that he makes. You know? Instead of just running it back with Westbrook, you know, you left him high and dry, and you went to the team that beat you. You're up 3-1. You know? And now, like, it's like, you know, oh, KD won a championship because he took the easy way out, you know? He didn't have to go through the grind, you know? So that's why everybody's looking at KD's side, you know? Like for me, I would go after Giannis. I know I'm going to get everything out of Giannis every single night. Now, the Knicks are not going to move Cat. Okay, Cat is out of the question. We're not going to move Brunson. He's out the question. So that leaves Bridges. We're not going to move him because we just traded all our picks for him. So that leaves OG and Hart. Because remember, we signed OG, which I think we should have just waited until the end of the season to extend him, but we extended him. So he's here for another, 3 years? I don't know how much we gave for him. But, you know, he's going to be here for a while. So that just leaves Hart. Because I believe Hart's contract is up after next year. So, we'll see. Like I said, man, I just say what I know, and, you know, obviously I'm not a GM, I'm not an owner, I'm just a fan, you know, and these are just the things that the Knicks can improve on, and, you know, we'll see 5 months from now, we'll see. So, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.